Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tech and Sci with an Asian guy. I'm Siedoggs. I learned chess a little over a year and a half ago during parts of COVID. Now, that was a terrible time for the world, but we saw an explosion in the number of new players in chess, and I'm definitely a part of that. I want to take you through a couple games of mine. So why watch my channel instead of some international masters and grandmasters? Because you came here for blood. Let's be honest. You want to see low elo at its best. You want to see the hilarious follies of the new and incoming player as they kind of earn their stripes through the ranks of chess. So you also will see some great wins too. Some impressive moves by both the opponents and me. So without further ado, here we go. Here's the first game. Now I've stripped all the names off of this, but again, I am Siedoggs here. I am playing with the white pieces. Our opponent is playing as black. So of course I start with d4. I'm a big d4 player. So opponent responds with e5, challenging that pawn in the center. I develop to hopefully take. Queen develops out. I get a little nervous. I'm not going to lie about that. Sometimes I don't know exactly what to do when the person brings out their queen early. So I go to essentially put a pawn in place. I want to develop my pieces here. I don't want to block in my typical squares for my knight. So the opponent develops a knight, I develop a knight, take. Can be a little bit scary to have that queen there, but we're going to go ahead and continue development. Now, queen attacks g2, so it's threatening my rook. Kind of respond in kind, get the bishop out there, check, block, check, take. Queen has to evacuate. Now at this point, out of a 30-minute game, now this is important, out of a 30-minute game, opponent has 22 minutes and I have 28. They have spent about 7.5 minutes moving that queen and trying to attack to just take everything. But fortunately my defenses were a little bit up today. Queenside castle. Now notice I can't move that king to the b1 square. Opponent castles on kingside. This is not exactly what I want, but it's what I got. Opponent can start pushing these pawns and just pawn storm and march down and get my king. Not ideal. So we develop in the center, cutting off that queen at least for a moment. Check. Now I still get to move my king to safety here, so this is always good, at least for me right now. Now I attack the queen, kind of get it to move a little bit here. Opponent's targeting the a2 square. I need to do something about it. We move that pawn. We interpose a piece. Check. Block. Check. Take. Opponent develops their bishop. My rook. We both develop our rooks, but unfortunately we're covering the same place where pieces are already somewhat protected. King moves. I want to try to get out of the spaces that are going to be an issue for me, especially when the knight comes here to our b4 square. I have to move my queen. Not a good position, as you can see from that eval bar. Opponent puts that rook on the open c file. This isn't good for me, but I have one last effort here. Take. And then when the opponent doesn't realize it, I go for that back ring checkmate, which was really my only option. So sure, there were some blunders here, but this is kind of a good showing of determination in chess. So I loaded the PGN here. We're going to set up a new position on the board. All right. So then we're going to have our second game. Something a little bit more beautiful, hopefully. So, I also start with the white pieces here. Opponent with black. We begin with Now I said I was a London player. We begin with d4, d5, bishop f4. Everything's in line with that initial setup for the London here. Knight out to d2. No real confrontation yet, which is always good. I'm getting everything I want in the opening, getting everything I want in the setup. Now bishop has to move. Now the not ideal part is, well, where do I move that f4 bishop? That's where I want it. So I move it up. Knight jumps in to block. Knight out to f3, our traditional spot for that knight in the London system. It's not looking good to, right now, because I'm going to get attacked and I don't know where to move my knight. That is not always the best place to put your knight, but jump out of the way, and I got to figure out a game plan fast because that knight's going to get trapped. Bishop out, queen out, and I go for the trade there. Defend that knight if at all possible. Take. We're going to go long for queenside castle here. It's a little bit dangerous, but the reason why I went that way is because we have a lot of pieces staring down at me on that right side, on the king side. Queen side, they can still march their pawns, but they're going to be a little bit slower. They're going to be a little bit slower to arrive. You got forces over here. I think I might have a better chance to defend over here. So, long castle as well, not bad for me. That also means that they may not be pushing their pawns that way. So that's nice. I want to get my knight out of danger here. It's not in a great spot. Attack the knight, move the king so that I can prevent some very unpleasant things coming my way. Trade for the bishop, take. Now rooks line up here, stacked together, but there's less place for them to go. So I'm okay with that for now. I kind of want to attack, and this knight's going to be protected. So they have to remove their rook again. Developing my knight outwards here towards the b3 square here. Kind of want to get my rook into the party. I want to force a couple trades. I want to take some powerful pieces, whatever I can, off the table. Attack the queen. Now that's not ideal because I also have to move my knight again. So I figure, let's take that bishop. Queen takes. We're going to push a pawn. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to try to split open that position if possible. Now, opponent lines up two pieces here, but counting exercise here. What's going to be left when the dust settles? Take. I emerge up a full rook. So now, just kind of a matter of cleaning up a little bit. It's a little messy. Not the cleanest conversion here, but I like the idea. I moved my rook a little too much, but king still has places to move, even if it's two spots right now. Promote that queen. Bring her over. All moves from here are check. So we want to make sure that we do not stalemate. King moves and mate. So, as we wrap up here, I just want to say, as I develop my channel here, you're going to see some great content. You're going to see some content that you may not like. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Tell me what you like and what you don't like, because I'm here to basically create as much content as I can, given my interests, and chess is one of those. Thanks for joining with me today, and you guys have a great night.